everyone. Great to be live with you again. We continue to live through unprecedented times. The last president's home now raided by the current president's FBI. We're going to get into all the new details on the raid of Mar-a-Lago, President Trump's home. As one Twitter user, Matthew J. Peterson, said, guys, look, no one's above the law, okay? Except for the Bidens, the Clintons, millions of illegal immigrants, domestic terrorism groups we like, sexual abusers we don't prosecute, crazed shooters that we know about beforehand, and every government employee who's on our side, Epstein's pals, and the list goes on. But nobody's above the law. Okay, so we're going to break down where Trump was when this happened, what law he's accused of breaking, fact that this is not the first time federal agents have been to his home this year, the connection between Epstein and the judge who approved the search warrant to raid his home. We're going to look at Pelosi's glowing reaction to the raid this morning, Mike Pence's shocking reaction, new talk of civil war. Let's jump into all the details. Before we get into it, shout out to the sponsor of my coverage. If aging wasn't hard enough, a new study reveals the older you look, the harder it'll be for you in the dating market. That's why I highly recommend this amazing new face product. This face serum is the best at reducing dark spots, sagging skin, crow's feet. Users report seeing smoother, firmer, younger looking skin in days. The best thing about it is that it comes with free shipping, free VIP health and fitness coaching for life, and a free e-report titled The Top 10 Anti-Aging Superfoods. It is Ageless Glow by BioTrust Skin Rejuvenating Serum. This is what I use morning and night. You can get it today with my link for 38% off. Link down in the description, glowwithivory.com. Free shipping and a 60-day money-back guarantee. Great company, natural ingredients. I'm a fan. Okay, so let's get into what ABC News is reporting about the last time that federal agents searched and went to Mar-a-Lago.
ABC News has learned that this isn't the first time federal agents visited that estate. ABC's Faith Abube has the latest.
An extraordinary and unprecedented scene at former President Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago property in Florida. FBI agents Monday executing a court-authorized warrant at the former president's private residence. Trump and his family were not at the home during the raid. His son, Eric Trump, on Fox News.
30 FBI agents, actually more than that, descend on Mar-a-Lago, give absolutely, no notice, go through the gate, start ransacking an office.
Trump himself seen in New York ignoring shouted questions, but confirming the raid in a statement saying his property was under siege and that the agents even broke into his safe. Sources tell ABC News the raid is part of the investigation into allegations Trump improperly removed presidential documents, including classified material from the White House when he left office, a possible violation of federal laws. The National Archives referred the case to the Justice Department after retrieving 15 boxes of material from the Mar-a-Lago residence in January, some of the documents allegedly torn up. Trump and his top Republican allies, furious about the FBI raid, without evidence, accusing the DOJ of being weaponized, even though Trump appointed the current FBI director.
That is to try to politically harm and intimidate their political opponents. That's what this is all about.
Legal experts say before receiving approval for the search warrant, FBI agents would have had to prove to a federal judge there is probable cause a crime or crimes had been committed and that evidence was in the home.
To send this kind of FBI team to the former president's home, there has to be something more than just a Presidential Records Act violation. They have to know something that we don't know about yet.
And both the FBI and DOJ have declined to comment, and now Trump allies are calling for an investigation into the DOJ and FBI.
Yep, the FBI, DOJ work in deep secrecy until their cases are closed, so we probably won't get any word from them soon on what's really going on. But apparently, there's ABC saying Trump may have violated the Presidential Records Act when he left the White House in the flurry that was January of 2021. Impeachment proceedings going after him, him being accused of possibly organizing January 6th and all that. So the word is he took off out of the White House and took a bunch of records with him amongst all his stuff, and that some of those were classified documents, and that would have been the possible crime. Now, there's a great article in the New York Post that looks further at what this is probably really about. Presidential Records Act. Does anyone really care about this? This is about January 6th, isn't it? This is about keeping Trump from going back into the presidency in 2024, isn't it? Although, as many are arguing today, with this incredible, unprecedented raid on his home is rallying support back around Trump, almost giving him the 2024 presidency, because so many Americans are stunned. I mean, one of my friends, look, I've had her on my show, my friend Yelena, she's Russian. She lives in America now, but she and her husband have always been leftist. They've always, I mean, she was pushing out a petition to get Hillary Clinton elected back in 2016. She texted me today, oh my gosh, USA is way more similar to Russia than I thought, when she saw that the FBI had raided Trump's home, even though she and her husband don't historically like Trump. She was stunned at the corruption herself. She identified that corruption with being incredibly similar to the Russian government's corruption. So this is how people across America are reacting. It just didn't make sense, this raid. Well, Andrew McCarthy in the New York Post has this headline, Trump raid not about classified documents, it's about January 6th. Now, you go down to an interesting point he makes here. One of the potential law violations that Trump may have violated under Section 2071 of the Federal Penal Code includes in its penalty provisions that upon conviction, a defendant, quote, shall forfeit his office and be disqualified from holding any office under the United States. The ongoing proceedings implicating Trump in particular, the Justice Department's investigation in the House January 6th committee's probe, seem geared towards undermining his capacity to seek the presidency again in 2024. Obviously, then, there is speculation that DOJ may be mobilizing now in order to trigger Section 2071 disqualification. Is that what it's about? But then he goes further, no, I doubt that. The Justice Department well knows that the qualifications for a presidential candidate are set out in the Constitution. They may not be altered by statute, precisely because the framers, our founding fathers, did not want the executive branch to be dominated by the legislature, as would happen if Congress could disqualify incumbent or potential presidents simply by passing a law. The Constitution's qualifications for the presidency are minimal. One must be over 35 and a natural-born citizen. Being a felon is not a disqualification, so even crimes potentially far more serious than mishandling classified information are not a bar to seeking the presidency. Moreover, the Constitution, he goes on, also prescribes the basis for disqualifying a person from seeking the presidency or other federal office. Conviction by the Senate on an impeachment article voted by the House. Again, what is prescribed by the Constitution may not be altered by a mere statute. To trigger disqualification, Congress would have to impeach and convict Trump. It cannot be done by criminal prosecution. So there you go. It's going to be harder than, as these people have seen, it's harder than they thought to get rid of Trump. But it appears this is the ongoing witch hunt. You know, if you can use an excuse to raid his home, like, oh, he might still have classified information, documents there, then they can look for anything else. Hopefully for them, the feds hoping that as they look for these supposed documents that he took from the White House when he left, that they also might find amongst his things plans to create an insurrection, right? Because these ongoing January 6th proceedings are happening, and they are trying desperately to find a way to destroy Trump before he takes office again in 2024, as he's hinted very strongly he plans to run again. And as we know, Biden and the Democrats are losing popularity fast, so it would likely be an easy race, all right, for him to win, an easy victory. Okay, so New York Post also reported that the magistrate judge in Florida who approved the FBI raid was once linked to Jeffrey Epstein. They say, quote, the Florida federal magistrate judge who signed off on a search warrant authorizing the FBI raid of former President Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago resort, donated to Barack Obama in 2008, months after he left the local U.S. Attorney's Office to rep employees of the convicted pedophile Jeffrey Epstein, who had received immunity in the long-running sex trafficking investigation of the financier. So reporters have put out this court docket that lists that judge and this magistrate judge. I wasn't able to solidly verify that this is indeed the judge who signed off on the search warrant, but you can see here, United States versus sealed search warrant. This was a sealed search warrant so that the person being searched would have no heads up that the feds were about to raid. They do this fairly often. When I covered the feds targeting the Amish a week or two ago, when I covered that, that's what they had done. The FBI had done the same thing to an Amish man, did a sealed search warrant so that they could just surprise him at his home and snatch his guns. So it says here that this search warrant, it was issued August 5th, and I actually went to Pacer, which is the official government site for these records, and Pacer does not list that judge's name. There's very little information. Here's Pacer. It's just a sealed magistrate matter issued and then terminated on the same day. There's not even record here that this search warrant was executed. So I'm like, is this search warrant that people are sharing around even the accurate one? Nevertheless, this magistrate judge does indeed work in South Florida. It's probably true. The Miami Herald wrote an article about him back in 2018 saying, quote, Epstein also hired Bruce Reinhart. That's the judge we're talking about. Epstein hired him. Then an assistant U.S. attorney in South Florida, now a U.S. magistrate. He left the U.S. Attorney's Office January 1st, 2008, and went on to work representing Epstein's employees in 2008, records show. So it's interesting, you guys, when I Google this judge, something strange happens. I want to show you guys. Okay, so you Google Bruce Reinhart judge, and what comes up on the first page is his official bio, uscourts.gov, Judge Bruce Reinhart. You can see the preview here, Southern District of Florida. It says Bruce Reinhart was sworn in as a U.S. state magistrate judge for the Southern District of Florida, March 14th, 2008. Prior to taking the bench, then you got to click the link to read further from the official U.S. court's website about this judge. But when you do that, look at here, access denied. You are not authorized to access this page. So why did the U.S. courts just wipe his bio off of their page? That's a little peculiar. Here's the judge who signed off on the search of Trump, and he's magically wiped off of the U.S. court's page, but the Google search results are not wiped clean yet. So something fishy is going on. So he took office as a judge in 2018. That was while Trump was president. And, presidents appoint federal judges. I was like, did Trump appoint this judge who then authorizes a search warrant. But no, actually, with U.S. magistrate judges, that's not how it works. According to uscourts.gov, a U.S. magistrate judge is a judicial officer of the district court and is appointed by majority vote of the active district judges of the court to exercise jurisdiction over matters assigned by statute, as well as those delegated by the district judges. So that's how it works. But here's the thing, guys. The FBI director, who presumably would have been in charge of that raid, was appointed by Trump. Christopher Wray, he took office 2017. Trump assigned this guy to be FBI director. So why is he now raiding Trump's home for unknown reasons? Well, some people are speculating that Trump set this whole thing up himself because he knew it would rally his supporters around him, that this would be an opportunity to garner more support as he plans to run for re-election. Take a look at none other than Kevin Clancy from Barstool Sports has this very interesting theory.
Now, the National Archives has known that Donald Trump had these government documents at his personal home for a while now. It's just that he didn't return that, and with the potential classified information, he might be violating a Presidential Records Act, which I believe is the perfect sort of investigation that Donald Trump wants to bring the heat on him right before his presidential run in 2024. When does Donald Trump do his best? When his back's against the wall and people are going after him and he rallies his base. He's not really breaking the law. Nobody gives a fuck about this. If anything was to go wrong, nobody cares about Presidential Records Acts. Meanwhile, all he gets to do is claim that we're a third world country and it's dark times for America and you gotta hire Donald Trump again to do the job. This entire thing is orchestrated by Trump supporters at the highest levels. We'll raid your home. We'll make you the victim. We'll rally the country again. We'll win in 2024.
I mean, and Sebastian Gorka said himself on his True Social page, he said today that the FBI has single-handedly reelected Donald Trump because the outrageous actions of the FBI in doing this raid just rallied so much support around him. So it's an interesting theory. Did Trump set this stuff up with the guy he appointed to be FBI director? Andrew Yang posting this today. He's the one who ran unsuccessfully against Biden in the Democratic primaries for president. He tweeted today, quote from this article saying, quote, if they raided his home just to find classified documents he took from the White House, one legal expert noted, he will be reelected president in 2024, hands down. It will prove to be the greatest law enforcement mistake in history. Basically saying, everyone sees this as so outrageous that people are rallying to defend Trump and support him. He's garnering new support from this. I also thought it was very interesting. Trump announced the raid on his True Social page, and literally, I guess it was 5 hours later that he posted this big campaign style video. I was like, did Trump already have this video ready to go? How did he know? I don't know if you guys saw the campaign video. I'm seeing just now that Trump just posted another update on his True Social. Let's read it before I show you the video. Quote, a horrible thing that took place yesterday at Mar-a-Lago. We are no better than a third world country, a banana republic. It is a continuation of Russia impeachment hoax number 1, impeachment hoax number 2, and the no collusion Mueller report and more. To make matters worse, it is all, in my opinion, a coordinated attack with radical left Democrat state and local DAs and AGs. So that's Trump's latest update there. Let me play this video that he had locked and loaded and ready to go within 5 hours after the raid began.
We are a nation in decline. We are a failing nation. We are a nation that has the highest inflation in over 40 years, where the stock market just finished the worst first half of a year in more than 5 decades. We are a nation that has the highest energy cost in its history, and we are no longer energy independent or energy dominant, which we were just 2 short years ago. We are a nation that is begging Venezuela and Saudi Arabia for oil. We are a nation that surrendered in Afghanistan, leaving behind dead soldiers, American citizens, and $85 billion worth of the finest military equipment in the world. We are a nation that allowed Russia to devastate a country, Ukraine, killing hundreds of thousands of people, and it will only get worse. We're a nation that has weaponized its law enforcement against the opposing political party like never before. We've never seen anything like this. We're a nation that no longer has a free and fair press. Fake news is about all you get. We're a nation where free speech is no longer allowed, where crime is rampant like never before, where the economy has been collapsing, where more people died of COVID in 2021 than in 2020. We're a nation that is allowing Iran to build a massive nuclear weapon and China to use the trillions and trillions of dollars it's taken from the United States to build a military to rival our own. We are a nation that over the past 2 years is no longer respected or listened to all around the world. And we are a nation that is hostile to liberty and freedom and faith. We are a nation whose economy is floundering, whose stores are not stocked, whose deliveries are not coming, and whose educational system is ranked at the bottom of every list. We are a nation that in many ways has become a joke. But soon we will have greatness again. It was hardworking patriots like you who built this country, and it is hardworking patriots like you who are going to save our country. There is no mountain we cannot climb. There is no summit we cannot reach. There is no challenge we cannot beat. There is no victory we cannot have. We will not bend. We will not break. We will not yield. Ever, ever, ever. We will never give in. We will never give up. And we will never, ever back down. We will never let you down. As long as we are confident and united, the tyrants we are fighting do not stand even a little chance. Because we are Americans, and Americans kneel to God and God alone. And it is time to start talking about greatness for our country again.
Yeah, a nearly 4-minute clip there ends with a quote saying the best is yet to come. President Donald Trump, that's something he used to say a lot. Well, his supporters indeed rallied around him after hearing of the raid. He first announced the raid on his True Social page, which I posted his statement on my Instagram and retweeted it if you haven't seen it. NPR reported on the crowds of Trump supporters who came out to support him outside of Mar-a-Lago. A lot of police there, as you can see. It looked like the local police were helping out as well. Now, that, NPR is obviously the anti-Trump outlet. Let's look at a pro-Trump outlet sharing supporters of Trump as well. Millennial Republicans on Instagram showing video of cars lined up outside of Mar-a-Lago. Someone drove by saying F Trump. Lady yells F you. Everyone got their rally gear back out and drove out to support the former president after his home was raided. Now, Nancy Pelosi was interviewed this morning and asked about her thoughts on the raid. Let me play for you what she had to say.
All I know about that is what is in the public domain. I was surprised that it flashed on my phone last evening. So I don't really have too much to say, except that to have a visit like that, you need a warrant. To have a warrant, you need justification. And that says that no one is above the law, not even a president or a former president of the United States. But that all of this will, I'm sure, be made known to us over time. But I have no knowledge of it. I do know is that there has been chatter, or what more than chatter, about the president's documents and how they must be preserved for history. And we'll see what the justification was for the raid. I just don't know. I think everybody was surprised by it.
Everybody was surprised by it. Her glowing face there. Now, the reaction from Mike Pence was surprising to me because, Mike Pence didn't seem like a big Trump fan after they parted ways following the presidency. But Mike Pence rallied to Trump's support this morning, tweeting, quote, "I share a deep concern of the deep concern of millions of Americans over the unprecedented search of the personal residence of President Trump. No former president of the United States has ever been subject to a raid of their personal residence in American history," he went on to say. After years where FBI agents were found to be acting on political motivation during our administration, the appearance of continued partisanship by the Justice Department must be addressed. He tweeted further, "Yesterday's action undermines public confidence in our system of justice, and Attorney General Garland must give a full accounting to the American people as to why this action was taken, and he must do so immediately." Also, the House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy rallied to Trump's defense. Now, McCarthy, a raging rhino, shockingly had threatening words for the DOJ. Kevin McCarthy tweeted, "Attorney General Garland, preserve your documents and clear your calendar. I've seen enough. The Department of Justice has reached an intolerable state of weaponized politicization. When Republicans take back the House, we will conduct immediate oversight of this department, follow the facts, and leave no stone unturned. Attorney General Garland, preserve your documents and clear your schedule." Basically saying he's ready to get this Attorney General in trouble. Okay, so MSNBC covering this is talking about the prospect of civil war. This raid on Trump has agitated a lot of his supporters like none other. Here's how MSNBC is covering this today.
Dozens of people protested in support of former President Trump last night in Florida, gathering outside his Mar-a-Lago residence after it was searched by the FBI. Meanwhile, NBC's Ben Collins is reporting that this was the top comment on the search on the pro-Trump site The Donald last night. Quote, "Lock and load," with references to a civil war in that chat thread. And the threatening language is not all anonymous. This pro-Trump influencer posted, quote, "Tomorrow is war," to his public Twitter account. Ben Collins joins us now, along with former FBI Special Agent Clint Watts. Ben, so there's been a lot of violent chatter online. How would you compare this after this broke to what was happening around January 6th?
It's definitely the worst it's been since January 6th. There was a time after January 6th where these people retreated into their holes. They were afraid of the feds. That is not the case at all anymore. On extremist telegrams like America First Groyper telegrams, which is basically an extremist white nationalist movement, and also Proud Boys telegrams, they are talking about the Civil War and how it's imminent to them. That's what's happening right now in these spaces. They are gearing up for something big. The only solace I have to offer anyone is that they don't have clear plans yet. These people don't have a clear date. There is no January 6th thing to circle on a calendar. There is no one person who is barking out directions like it was happening in the days and weeks before January 6th. But the violent rhetoric is more violent and louder than ever.
And Clint, Republican representative, member of Congress Dan Bishop of North Carolina said,
interesting. I mean, it's interesting what he's saying. I know a lot of people are very agitated, and I've seen it in my comment section, people making similar comments about like, "Oh, let's go," I interviewed one person on my uncensored website, ivoryhecker.com, who made the point that he also knows a group of people in Arizona who are locked, loaded, and ready for civil war. They want to get our country back to its constitution, I guess, rather than all of this deep state corruption, right? But he's saying this is what the FBI is waiting for. The FBI wants America to go into civil war so that they can declare a police state and take away even more of our freedoms. So we've got to figure out a way to not let that happen. It's interesting he mentioned Proud Boys telegrams because, I conduct a lot of interesting interviews over on my uncensored website, ivoryhecker.com, link down in the description. One of the people I interviewed was the chairman of the Proud Boys. And at that time, he gave me his telegram, or, the official Proud Boys telegram. So I checked it today because he's MSNBC saying that Proud Boys are planning civil war on their telegram. So, I mean, I'm sure there's multiple Proud Boys telegrams, but the official one given to me by the Proud Boys chairman has no talk of civil war whatsoever. What they do have, the last thing that they did share is this video of Nancy Pelosi. Again, being interviewed today in that same interview where she was asked about the raid, she also had this to say about China.
Support the one China policy. We go there to acknowledge the status quo is what our policy is. There was nothing disruptive about that. It was only about saying China is one of the freest societies in the world. Don't take it from me. That's from Freedom House.
Let's talk a little bit.
Democracy, courageous people, and it's just.
She's like, please, Nancy, stop talking. Stop digging yourself into a horrible hole. Nancy Pelosi literally this morning just said that China is one of the freest societies. Absolutely stunning, as NBC's Today Show tried to cut her off and prevent her from burying herself in an insane hole. But that is the video that Proud Boys was sharing today. That's the only thing they shared today. And then yesterday, immediately after the announcement from Trump about the raid, the Proud Boys wrote on Telegram, quote, "The FBI is gay." That's all they had to say. They didn't talk about civil war at all. I'm sure, if people were planning civil war, they'd probably be planning it in a more secret place, when the redcoats came to seize the Patriots' guns and arrest an innocent man, the Patriots did not give the redcoats a heads up that they were locked, loaded, and ready to meet the redcoats in 1775. Okay, they didn't send out a memo on Telegram. So if a civil war is being planned, it might be harder to see where it's being planned. Okay, but here's the thing. A couple of people are talking about what this means for you. And MSNBC shared this Trump supporting YouTuber. That's Steven Crowder. I'm sure we all know about him. I was like, did Steven Crowder really write that it's war? Sure enough, he did right here on his Twitter. Tomorrow is war. Sleep well. And then today, he tweeted again, today is war. That's all you will get on today's show. So he's talking war. He asked, should we support the complete defunding of the FBI? He did a poll on that, which was interesting to me because it's reminiscent of the left's campaign to completely defund ICE, Immigration and Customs Enforcement, over their deportation of migrants. And so both left-wing and right-wing groups are campaigning to delete entire law enforcement branches. So I'm not sure if I agree with that. I actually voted no. I mean, does the FBI need a huge purge? Absolutely. They're filthy with corruption, but we do need to still investigate federal crimes, which is what the FBI was supposed to be for. Now, here's what Steven Crowder went on to say. The FBI raided former President Donald Trump, and they are coming for you next. We give you the latest on the raid. Okay, so he's one of several people saying, look, what does this raid mean for you? It means that if they're willing to do this to Trump, they're willing to do this to anyone. And by the way, it's really interesting that they're using this claim that Trump may be in possession of classified documents, because if you follow my YouTube regularly, you know that a week or two ago, I interviewed a former U.S. Army Green Beret who's currently rotting in jail after he released secret recordings of the FBI and the mischief that they're up to. FBI found a way to charge him with a crime that would keep him in jail. And they tacked on this charge that he may be in possession of classified documents. I interviewed him from jail a week or two ago. Check back in my YouTube. His name is Jeremy Brown. He made this argument that was the perfect charge for the FBI to lodge against him, may be in possession of classified documents, because if he is in possession of classified documents, the public will never see proof that he was in possession of classified documents because they're classified. So the public can never see those documents. You just have to take the Fed's word for it that, yeah, we found some classified documents. So the Fed could be completely making this up. So same goes for Trump. If he has classified documents, we just have to take the Fed's word for it. Yeah, we found classified documents. You can't see them because they're classified. So it's the perfect charge to make up if you have to make up a charge against someone. So Sebastian Gorka also had some words about what this means for you, reporting on his Truth Social page. FBI raids President Trump's home. Tyranny has arrived in America. What it means for you.
Not of the old man in the White House who is not compos mentis, but of the radicals and the ideologues that have taken over the Democrat Party. Secondly, important to you, if they can do this to the President of the United States, the man who won 74 million votes, they can do it to you, to anyone. And lastly, most important of all, it means that they have failed. They have tried everything else. 2 impeachments, the January 6th committee, spurious charges, allegations in New York, and they have failed to stop President Trump. They are desperate because they have failed. He is running. But rest assured, this act by the FBI, by Merrick Garland, the DOJ, and the White House that had to approve all of it is a declaration of war against peaceful American citizens, 74 million of them. This is not America. Stay strong, my friends. God bless.
A declaration of war, he says. Many people feel that way. How do you feel about this? Is this the deep state trying their last effort to take down Trump before he runs and wins again in 2024? Or did Trump stage this himself to rally more support to himself, as some of his original supporters have been defecting away from him because they see he's a big pharma fan and apparently friends with people from the World Economic Forum? Is he trying to regain that support? Or are you amongst the group who just thinks he's a criminal and the FBI was in the right? Give me your comments down below. Thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe and share this video with your friends. And we will be back with more tomorrow. See you then.